What happens when real-life emotions blur the lines of drama and reality? Zhao Lusi never saw it coming. Wu Lei just made the boldest move of his life, and the world is still reeling from the shock. Was it a scene from a script or a heartfelt moment of truth? Let's dive into the drama with Red Carpet revealed and uncover the full story behind this unforgettable surprise proposal. In the glittering world of Chinese entertainment, where every red carpet moment is dissected and every social media interaction becomes tabloid fodder, few celebrity duos have captured the public imagination quite like Wu Lei and Zhao Lusi. Known for their undeniable on-screen chemistry and off-screen camaraderie, the two stars have long danced on the edges of romance and friendship in the eyes of their fans. But what began as whispers and wishful thinking has now exploded into the most heart-stopping revelation of the year. The moment Zhao Lusi found herself standing speechless before Wu Lei, who held a ring in one hand and a trembling promise in the other, was not just a proposal. It was a culmination of years spent growing up under the spotlight, of battles fought quietly behind the scenes, and of a slow-burning affection that refused to stay hidden. To understand how we got here, we need to step back, not just to the days of recent rumors or red carpet moments, but to the very beginning of their shared journey. Wu Lei, affectionately dubbed China's little brother, was once the fresh-faced child actor who lit up screens with his earnestness and charisma. Zhao Lusi, on the other hand, emerged slightly later, winning hearts with her quick wit, infectious laugh, and a penchant for playing strong yet endearing female leads. Their paths crossed professionally on the set of a historical drama 3 years ago, and sparks flew, not just on camera, but in the many unscripted moments fans were quick to notice. Behind the scenes, it was clear, Wu Lei and Zhao Lusi spoke a language all their own, be it the shared jokes, the way their eyes searched for each other in crowded rooms, or the playful teasing during interviews. Something magnetic connected them. Despite this, both stars were notoriously private. In an industry rife with scandal and speculation, their silence only fueled more intrigue. Paparazzi photos would occasionally catch them leaving the same restaurant, or flying back on the same day from an awards show abroad, but there was never confirmation. Their agencies offered the usual close friends and colleagues statements, and the stars themselves dodged romantic questions with professional grace. But their fans were not so easily swayed. Online forums buzzed with theories, fan edits, and timelines tracking every interaction. And yet, even the most dedicated followers couldn't have predicted what Wu Lei was planning. It began innocuously enough, an invitation. After wrapping up a grueling international shoot for a new film, Wu Lei proposed a weekend getaway to Zhao Lusi, a chance to breathe, to disconnect, to escape the omnipresent eye of public scrutiny. They flew to Dalian, a city known more for its tranquil coastlines than its showbiz ties. It was the kind of destination that spoke of calm, of clarity, and, as it turns out, of new beginnings. Sources close to the couple revealed that Wu Lei had spent months orchestrating the proposal. He rejected ideas involving grand stages or flashy celebrity fanfare. What he wanted, he told a confidant, was intimacy. Authenticity. A moment that was about them, not about optics. He found a private villa nestled on a quiet cliffside, with a terrace overlooking the sea. The setting was nothing short of magical. Soft golden fairy lights were strung from trees like fireflies trapped mid-flight. A gentle acoustic playlist hummed in the background, and the long dinner table was adorned with Lusi's favorite flowers, pale pink peonies and delicate white roses. As dusk turned the sky into a canvas of oranges and indigos, Wu Lei led Zhao Lusi to the terrace under the pretense of a simple private dinner. By all accounts, she suspected nothing. The meal was leisurely and filled with laughter. The easy kind that comes only when two people have spent years building trust and affection. But beneath Wu Lei's calm exterior, his heart raced. He waited until dessert had been cleared and the soft strains of a string quartet began to swell behind them. Then, as the waves crashed quietly in the distance, he stood. Zhao Lusi looked up, bemused. "Something wrong?" she asked, perhaps noting the sudden solemnity in his posture. He smiled, a smile that seemed to carry years of unsaid feelings. And then, slowly, he reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Her breath caught. "Lusi," he began, voice low but steady, "you once told me that love isn't about declarations in front of crowds, but about presence, about being there in the ordinary moments. Took a step closer. I've tried to do that, to love you in every way I knew how, in every silent support, every laugh we've shared, every second we've spent not needing to say anything at all. Then he dropped to one knee. A gasp escaped her lips. The sea, the sky, the stars, all seemed to hush in that instant. But tonight, he said, opening the box to reveal a delicate ring glinting under the lights, I want to say it out loud. Will you marry me? Lucy didn't speak at first. Tears welled in her eyes, and for a moment, looked as if the world had frozen in place. Then she nodded, just once, fiercely, joyfully. A single word followed. Yes, as if on cue, fireworks lit up the sky behind them, bursting into color above the waves. Wu Lei rose, slipping the ring onto her finger with trembling hands. Then they embraced, two people who had finally found their moment. In a world that rarely pauses long enough for anything real. But as with all things in the celebrity sphere, fantasy was fleeting. Despite the couple's attempts to keep the proposal quiet, a few members of the villa staff had already whispered to friends, and soon the story began to leak. Blurry photo of Zhao Lusi's hand, now adorned with a glittering engagement ring, surfaced online. Within hours, hashtags began trending. #Wu Lei proposal, #Zhao Lusi engaged, #Trauma royal couple. Fans were euphoric. Messages poured in from all over the globe, filled with congratulations, emotional reactions, and heartfelt tributes. They're the fairy tale we all needed, one fan tweeted. Another wrote, isn't just a proposal. This is a declaration of love for an entire generation who watched them fall in love without ever saying a word. Still, neither Wu Lei nor Zhao Lusi issued an official statement. Their social media accounts remained silent. But that silence, for once, said everything. Wake of the now legendary proposal, Zhao Lusi and Wu Lei found themselves at the center of a media storm neither had truly prepared for. While the world swooned over the intimate details of their engagement, the couple remained silent. But that silence wasn't out of hesitation or uncertainty, it was deliberate. It was, in fact, the very essence of how they had loved each other all these years, quietly, intentionally, and beyond the noise. For years, both stars had been stalwarts of professionalism, fiercely protective of their personal lives. They had watched peers burn under the harsh lights of public scrutiny, seen careers derailed by viral rumors or forced disclosures. Wu Lei, in particular, had experienced the pressure of growing up on camera. A boy with bright eyes and boundless energy to a man of poise and depth, he had been under a microscope his entire life. Lusi's rise, though swifter, came with its own burdens. Her spontaneous personality and relatable charm made her a media darling, but it also meant constant speculation, fabricated stories, and tabloid exaggerations. In each other, they had found sanctuary, a kind of quiet understanding no fame could disrupt. After the proposal, they spent 2 more days in Dalian. Out of the public eye, they enjoyed the stillness of a love freshly revealed. They walked on the beach at sunrise, hands intertwined, discussing nothing and everything. They cooked breakfast together in the villa's tiny kitchen, laughed over coffee, and danced barefoot on the terrace to the sound of ocean waves. It was, according to one close friend, the first time in years they could just be without performing. The eventual return to Beijing was not without its complications. By then, the proposal had gone viral. Pages were flooded with montages, musical tributes, and speculative wedding hashtags. Journalists camped outside their agencies and apartments. Offers poured in from every direction, exclusive interviews, brand endorsements, even film studios pitching wedding-themed scripts. The couple remained untouched by the frenzy. Instead of releasing a traditional statement, did something unexpected. 1 week after returning, Lei posted a single photo on his social media, a picture of the sea, the terrace, and 2 intertwined hands resting gently on a dinner table. No caption. No tags. Just an image that spoke louder than any press release ever could. Zhao Lusi followed suit hours later with a candid photo of Wu Lei, half laughing, hair tousled by the sea breeze, holding a mug of coffee. Beneath it, a simple line, the quiet kind of forever. The internet, predictably, erupted. But this time, the chaos felt different. Fans and followers seemed to respect the restraint and intention. Instead of demanding more, They celebrated the subtlety. Instead of pushing boundaries, they honored them. Still, the proposal wasn't just the beginning of an engagement, it became a catalyst for a cultural shift. An era where celebrity relationships often feel performative, curated for clicks and sponsorships. Wu Lei and Zhao Lusi's love reminded the industry of something older, something purer. Romance, at its best, isn't about scale but sincerity. The wedding, when it came, was just as personal. The couple chose not to host a televised extravaganza or sell the rights to media outlets. Instead, they opted for a private ceremony at a centuries-old temple in Hangzhou, surrounded by close family and friends. The venue, known for its peaceful gardens and koi-filled ponds, was more a retreat than a stage. According to a makeup artist who worked the event, the mood was reverent, joyful, and incredibly moving. No cameras clicking, no phones allowed, just love, pure and unfiltered, she recalled. Zhao Lusi wore a flowing cheongsam embroidered with jasmine flowers, symbolizing grace and modesty. Wu Lei, tailored ivory suit, looked every bit the gentleman the world had watched him grow into. They exchanged vows beneath a canopy of wisteria. And Wu Lei said, "I've loved you in silence for so long, I'm ready to spend the rest of my life saying it aloud." There wasn't a dry eye in the garden. The wedding dinner was a communal affair, modeled after traditional courtyard feasts. Long tables, handwritten place cards, and a menu curated from both of their favorite childhood dishes, spicy Sichuan tofu to delicate dim sum. Every bite carried nostalgia. Later that evening, Zhao Lusi surprised Wu Lei by performing a song she had written for him, soft, simple, and sung without accompaniment. "You see me," the lyrics said. "Not the spotlight around me, not the roles I play. Just me," was the final touch in a story that defied every cliché and expectation. The couple didn't disappear after marriage. Didn't exploit their relationship either. They returned to their craft with renewed clarity. Wu Lei took on a historical epic, while Zhao Lusi signed on to a modern drama about a woman redefining herself after love. Both projects were critically acclaimed, audiences praising the emotional depth and maturity they brought to their roles. In interviews, when asked about their relationship, both remained consistent. "What we share isn't for performance," Wu Lei once said. "It's real, and it's ours." Still, their presence together, whether in joint charity appearances or candid airport sightings, continued to melt hearts. In one now iconic moment, the two were spotted waiting in line at a street food stall in Chengdu, wearing matching hoodies and holding hands. The photo, shared by a lucky fan, went viral, captioned simply, "Even stars need Basie." Over time, they became more than a celebrity couple. They became symbols, for authenticity, for love that grows in silence, and for the power of choosing each other over spectacle. A rare podcast interview marking their first wedding anniversary, Zhao Lusi shared something quietly profound. "Everyone always wants to know when it happened, when we fell in love. But the truth is, it wasn't one moment. It was every small moment. He waited for me after long shoots. When he remembered how I take my tea. When he listened more than he spoke. Love wasn't a surprise. The proposal was. But love. Love had been with us the whole time." It's hard to write a better ending than that, but maybe that's the point. Their story isn't ending. It's unfolding, in quiet glances, shared routines, and a kind of devotion that doesn't need headlines to matter. For those of us watching from afar, hearts warmed by the beauty of it all, we're reminded of something worth believing in, that in a world full of noise, true love still speaks in wisdom.